Hey, it's good. I'm doing a horse radiation decklist video for you guys. So this will be a rough draft. And I'm sure right off the bat you guys are probably thinking like, why is Kenneth the commander, not Mothman? Well, that's what I'll be explaining to you guys right now. So I was thinking about this last night as I was going through the deck and kind of looking at things. And there is a card that you guys saw off the top, which is this one. And so his effect says, basically, if you lose life due to radiation, you gain life instead. And so I was trying to think, like, okay, so how can I make this work by getting some type of advantage off it? And the first thing that came to mind was Crested Summer. Because it says, if you gain life this turn, make a 5/5 force. And so they're like, okay, what would I use for the commander? And the most obvious choice would be Kenrith. Because you can gain life off of Kenrith as well. Put a +1/+1 counter, give your creatures haste, draw a card, and then revive a creature from the grave. So it's really quite good for a versatile commander. So yeah, so that's kind of the whole basis behind having white in here, is that the life gain, and then also making your radiation useful for if you take life or take damage, you gain life, and then you can make a 5/5 force if you have both on the field. So that's kind of what my thought process was with that for the whole concept. So I'll go through the deck and just kind of show you guys what's in here. So Guardian Summer, Mothman. So return up to 2 target creatures from your grave, and then put two +1/+1 counters on a creature. Then all creatures get -4/-4. So I don't think you'll be doing that very often, but returning 2 from the grave to your hand is pretty good. So, and then Casablanco, lands, and kind of some other things, more +1/+1 counters, and other things like that. So, let's say this would be a little more of a longer video, but I was pretty excited to show this to you guys. So, and then proliferate is another way to give your opponent the more radiation and all that fun stuff, more counters on your creatures, all that. So, and then this has scavenge, or creatures in your grave have scavenge. So you basically exile a creature, and then you pay the mana cost, and then you put a +1 or number of +1/+1 counter on target creature, basically, or on that creature. So basically, you arrive from the grave, add a number of +1/+1s, and then yeah. So that seems pretty good. Hardened skills, Plague Mare, more +1/+1 counter things. Frightening Sanity. This card's just nasty. And then creatures that give your opponents raid counters. And then this, where land enters, you may get 2 raid counters. So this can be actually kind of interesting with the life gain, if you have the life gain set up, to where if you give yourself the raid counters, then it doesn't hurt you quite as often, or quite as much, if you can set up the life gain either with Kenrith or with the way that I was explaining in the beginning with him. So, but interesting to say the least. Path of Discovery. So basically, this says creature control enter with Explorer, basically. So you flip the top card, and if it's a land, nothing happens. But if it's something else, then you put +1/+1 count on the creature. So, or you put the land to your hand, basically. So, but yeah, Expendable Tide, more Proliferate, where you cast a creature, Commander or Command Tower. So this is another interesting one. The one that you want to focus on is Enclave. So where a player attacks you with one or more creatures, that player gets twice as many raid counters. So that could be really, really nasty as well, depending on the situation. This somewhere deals damage that, or they get that many raid counters equal to the power of this dude, which can add up pretty quickly depending on the situation. More raid counters. This thing's also nasty too. So the equipped creature has +3/+0 and has Intimidate. And then where the equipped creature attacks until end of the defending player's next turn, that player gets 2 raid counters whenever they cast a spell. Yeah, that's dumb. When I read this, I was like, oh, okay, yep, that's I mean annoying. And then more proliferates, more raid counters, more proliferate, and then storm. So where you cast a spell, copy it for each spell cast before this turn. So yeah, it can get pretty out of hand really quick. So, and then there's the Move Pony. So that's for the first half. Inkbearer Druid, more +1/+1 encounters, more Proliferate, where this attacks, more raid counters, Thorny Nightmare. This is actually going to be interesting with a creature in the deck. So, especially with the +1/+1 counter enchantments, this may get out of hand really quick. So you pair it with another creature, and then each of those creatures has, or an opponent casts a spell, plus put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So yeah, then that can get out of hand really quick. Strength, Bobblehead, and then the alternate commander for the mutant deck. So when it enters, target player gets 2 raid counters, and then put target creature in the graveyard that was milled this turn onto a battlefield under your control. It's a green mutant with base power toughness 3/3. So I think you kind of want to do this with your opponent's creatures, basically. So, but yeah. And then more +1/+1 counters, more raid counter or raid, giving your opponents a raid. And then this is pretty good too, is the creature gets that many +1/+1 equal to the damage that they dealt to a opponent. And then more +1/+1 counters. So, and then more of the deck. So more Proliferate twice where it enters battlefield or attacks, which is insane. Command Lantern, Downmare, Rolling Throne, Third. This is the only red card that I have in here, which gives your horses haste, which makes sense. So, Marty's Wake, Caster's Crusade, Hollow Fountain, Watchful Ragsteed, or Ragstead. So more +1/+1 counters, and then more evolves, create a token that's a copy of it. So, Surge Mirror, Farseek, Phantom Seed. So I wanted to explain something a little bit with this too in this video. So I'm sure you're probably wondering, like, why is this horse in here? Well, you can do some dumb stuff with it. So recently when I was putting this deck together, if you exile Mothman with Phantom Steed, then you infinitely just make a copy of it during the combat where you attack. And that can be, as it says, where it enters the battlefield or attacks. So each player gets a raid counter. So basically what you can do is just keep attacking with Phantom Steed, keep making a copy of this, and keep giving your opponents and yourself a raid counter. So it can be kind of dumb depending on what the situation is. So yeah. Glowing one, more raid counters. More proliferate. More +1/+1s. More +1/+1s, and then raid counters to each opponent equal to the number of raid counters equal to this creature's power. So basically, if it's a 5/5, each opponent will give 5 raid counters. So more +1/+1s, and then each creature you control with the +1/+1 gets trampled. So that's also nasty. A border wipe, plus each player gets X raid counters. So yeah. Inga and Seka, be able to tap creatures to cast them from your hand is also pretty good. And then if you tap 3 creatures, you get to draw a card. So that's also pretty good too. More raid counters. More raid counters. Permanents with counters gain hexproof and indestructible. And then permanent all common damage that beats up to them, and then proliferate. So, and then Zodiac Course. So, yeah. So that's basically essentially it for the deck. It looks really quite nasty. And this will be one I'll be playing tonight, which is Friday. And so you guys will see this video sometime next week, which is either Wednesday or Saturday, whichever day I decide to upload this. But I'll probably also do a tournament report with this deck. Release a video over it, telling how it did. So that'll be probably before this video. So yeah. So thanks for watching, and yeah, stay tuned for the tournament report, which you guys will probably see before this. And so yeah, so I will catch you. Alright, bye guys.